I think in with architects I work with, I'm always very specific in projects I can take on, where things are like really specific and really made for a project. So I think they always sort of, my favorite windows are probably connected to these very specific projects where they're tailored to a project. Maybe one thing which comes to mind immediately was like windows I saw just a month ago in South Africa, Cape Town. Thomas Hedderwick, who finished the new Zuid-Smoka, a big contemporary art museum, the first contemporary art museum of the African continent actually. And he made these beautiful faceted windows, like they're very tall, probably 9 by 9 meter square windows, but then they're kind of bulging out, and they had to be made very economically. So instead of like a curved window, they're facets with like small triangles. And in that way, like looking out, you get a sort of beautiful pattern, but also from the outside, like all these different facets, they reflect basically all different parts of the town, because they're like presented in different angles. So sort of that's a very specific one which comes to mind. Or if you look at Herzog and de Meuron, the Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg, this amazing Philharmonic building with like the curved glass windows, which are like the total other end of the spectrum, probably the most expensive to create, but like really specific again, and really special. And those are always challenges to photograph and great to see. I think the window is also a thing like framing the view and like what is the look outside. In a way, like I'm always amazed by like what like the modernists in California could do with the very thin window frames, which could be like, they are almost impossible as window frames, but also give a clear view outside. And like as I'm building at the moment also my own house in California, I think that's something I try to replicate in my house as well. Like for me as a photographer, the window like is a very important source of the light which is brought into the space, and how a space is lit, what the shadows, how the light works throughout the day in a project. So in that sense, it's a very important part for me, and I'm always amazed like how architects use the openings, the windows, the light sources in very different ways, like from placing it on the right north, south, west, east corner, to like finding like new ways of bringing light in without maybe looking immediately outside or framing a view, but creating a window for like a different light source. So those are always nice things. Like in my own place, my house and office in Amsterdam, it's actually a corner building with like an old historic building, 200 years old, and like with many small windows sort of all around the building. So also again like bringing in light in a very specific way, but through many kind of smaller openings, which is like a personal favorite. Like in my work as a photographer, I think the window, like as a picture, basically it's framing also a view. So for the window is sort of an extra layer in that sense, framing the outside view, and as a photographer sort of framing the space and framing that view, and then that window has another, creates another layer of frames in there. So I think that's an important part of my work, which I'm always sort of trying to advance and use in different ways.